Well, this is my testimony. My name is Justin Balasco on the internet. My real name is Hugo, Hugo. I've been wanting to put this video out, this testimony, because I feel like it's going to touch a lot of people around the world, not just the DMV area where I live, but I feel like it's going to touch people all around the world. I feel like it's important as well for me as a Christian to give my testimony out there and to leave that in the past. I tried to make this video so many times, but there's always something that held me back. Like even now, it's about to rain. So I'm praying to God that the rain just stops until this video is over. But before I begin, no, I'm not going duck hunting. I just like this. I like the camo style. Some of you may not even see me because I'm wearing camo. No, but for real, this is my testimony from the beginning. So I didn't always grow up as a Christian. I didn't grow Christian, I would say, for the most part. We were like 10%, maybe 5% in there. It got squeezed in a little bit by my mom. And we didn't really grow up in a Christian faith-based household. I was taught to just work, and that's how life is. My dad, my mom, and that's not a bad thing to have, because I like that mindset as well. Work, and don't stop working. But that was what I was taught to do the whole time. People always comment, well, you were already Christian before, or you had a Christianity in your household, like it was probably a culture for you. For me, no, it wasn't a culture. It was the completely opposite. Actually, my family deep into witchcraft. So I was surrounded by evil. It was hard for me because I was seeking for God. And when I did seek for God, I was about to fall into that side of the world, into witchcraft. I went to a family member's house one time, and I was telling them I want to know God more, because I was deep in depression, and I just want to know God more. I want to have a connection with Him, and He gave me a bracelet, a red bracelet, and I was happy. I was like, okay, this is connecting me with God, more and more. But it wasn't, because I realized that, eventually the bracelet broke. I had a bracelet twice that was red, and it broke twice. And this bracelet is like for more of a Hispanic culture. It's like for good luck or for protection. There's also the evil eye that says it protects you, even though it's called evil eye. But I was getting thrown these things that weren't from God, but I didn't know, because I didn't know who God was. I didn't know who Jesus was. I heard of Jesus. I had a Muslim friend, and we'll talk about God, but I didn't know he was Muslim. I didn't know anybody. I thought they were all the same. So I just kept seeking, and I prayed a prayer saying to the God of the universe, to the God who's protecting me, because I felt like somebody was protecting me throughout my whole life. I just felt it. And I was like, the real God, reveal yourself to me. And He revealed Himself to me through people, through my friends. I was at my sister's house one time, and it happened to be, I think, the Passion of the Christ scene. I'm not sure. I think it was that movie, but it was Jesus getting crucified in a scene, and it hit me. And it was like, they're beating this guy up for what? And I just felt like, dude, the pain he suffered, everything that he was going through, and He did it for us. And I was just shook, and the whole way home I was crying. I was leaving, actually, mind you, I was leaving. I just got a glimpse of what was happening in the scene, and I prayed and I cried for like a week or two straight, just picturing Jesus on the cross, dying, and all the pain that He suffered. And I was like, dude, that's a lot. That's a lot. Like, imagine someone going that far for you. Imagine your friends going that far for you. You don't see that, The only one who did it was Jesus. And so that kind of got me looped in, And then after that, it was kind of like, I had the belief in Jesus, I had the faith in Jesus, but I didn't really know what that meant. And all I thought was, oh, have faith in Jesus, that's it. Think about him all day, I'm straight. But no, I had to know who Jesus was. So I started reading the Bible, and it just hit me, every time. I flipped to random pages. I didn't know where to start. I started in Genesis like 10,000 times. But I just kept flipping to random pages, and I just found words that were hitting me from my personal life. And let's rewind. As a kid, I didn't have no one to look up to. I had my parents there. Mind you, my parents didn't come from the United States. I didn't have the luxurious things, even the little things. Like, I could barely go outside because I was afraid of getting shot. And also, I had no one to really talk to. My brother, he was a teenager and he was working. My sister, she was working. She was going through her own things, and I had nobody to talk to. My mom working 2 jobs, and I was just home by myself. So what happens there? You're home by yourself, nobody to talk to, nobody's there. You start to fill yourself with things that you're not supposed to fill yourself with. I filled myself with evil. Started with lust. I'm not gonna say the word, but it starts with an M and it ends with an N. I'm not gonna say it because I'm not sure if I will get banned on YouTube or whatever, but it's lust, and I think you guys get what happened. But I was addicted to it, and I could not. I was addicted to it, but I didn't. It just happened, and it's just one thing after another. It's like if all you're feeding yourself is evil, then that's what you're gonna get, and it's gonna grow. There's the devil seed that grows. There's God seed that grows, but there's also the seed of the devil, and that's what happened. And I felt the guilt. Off the bat, I felt the guilt. I remember it, and it leads to a dark path. Messes with your brain, messes with your mind. I feel like one of the biggest enemies is yourself, is your mind. If you're not feeding yourself with God and you're listening to a lot of other people, then a lot of fear is going to creep in, a lot of anxiety is going to creep in, and that's what happened. But in the beginning, I wanted to end it. I wanted to call it quits, but I was scared to do it. But it came to a point where I was so dark in depression. I was feeding myself with all the depression, and I loved the pain. I loved being sad. It came to that point where I loved being sad because I feel like there was no sunshine at the end. I feel like there was no way I'm gonna get out of this. I come from a family that doesn't live the luxurious life. My mom struggled to feed us. Sometimes she didn't eat herself. So my family just like we had nothing given to us. Nothing. And my mom, I give praises to my mom, and Mom, you're watching this, I'm sorry for causing you the slightest of stress. Sometimes I want to say this to her. Sometimes I want to give her a hug, but for some reason my body doesn't allow me to, and that's one thing I got to work on still. Showing sympathy and empathy and all that, all the stuff that you should do to your parents, like give them a hug, tell them that you love them. And it's just because even if I do that, I feel like it'll be weird. You kind of grew up in that way, like where it's kind of awkward to love each other or say we love each other. We just know we do, but we don't show it in action. We don't hug each other or say I love you, but we do know we love each other. We always stick together no matter what. No matter what things we have in conflict with each other, we still come together and love each other. We hang out together. But to my mom, I'm sorry. My dad, I'm sorry. To my siblings, I'm sorry. because I know I caused them so much stress in that 1 month when they found out that I was suicidal, and it hit me too. They were worried for me, and so like I said in the beginning, I was scared to do it, but then it came to a point where I fed myself with so much depression and evil thoughts, and I loved it, and I was going to do it. But my sister found out, and then the word kind of spread that I was gonna do it, and everything just kind of fell, in a good way. I felt everything. I felt the guilt of even thinking of that, and I prayed. That's when I prayed to God, and I didn't know which God it was. I was like, whatever, the God who's watching over, the true God, the Lord of Lords, and I didn't know who it was, and I just felt so much peace, felt so much joy in that peace. Like I was emotional because I didn't know the peace that I had at that moment when God healed me from depression and suicide. I didn't know that even existed. I didn't see that. I didn't even see that far into the future of myself. When I was a kid, I thought I wasn't gonna live too long. I thought I'd probably 23, and I'm 23, and I'm turning 24 I'm turning 24 in like 2 months. So I didn't see too far into my future. I thought I wasn't gonna make it too far because I felt like it was gonna end. But here's where it gets crazier. I kind of go forward and I kind of rewind because it's kind of coming to my head, and it kind of makes sense as I'm explaining this, from back and forth. It's kind of like the Bible. But this one was kind of recently, not really, but yeah, kind of recently. So mind you, I'm 23 years old right now. I can't do the math. I'm not sure how old I was or what grade I was. I think I was in 10th or 11th grade, but I was in 10th or 11th grade, and I had a big friend group, and I just felt so much empathy for people, like people who were like scared to have friends, or the people who didn't have friends, and so I decided to find somebody who was like that, and I wanted to bring them into our friend group and to talk to them and to introduce them to my friends, and I did. I picked one kid out of the class, and I just, I started talking to him randomly, and it was cool at first, but it kind of got weirder over time, and it got to a point where it kind of felt, it got weird, and that person just kept wanting to talk to me more and get more close to me, but it was kind of more of like, oh yeah, you're my friend, but like selfishly. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like something overcame him. I know now it was demonic, as I explained further. But he kind of just like, hey, what are you doing today? Whatever, and it was just so many weird things, kind of pushy friend, and it got to a point where it kind of got more creepier and creepier. He would just talk to me whenever he saw me, like, it's just that little speed walk, and like, it was just weird. And mind you, I'm a part of the wrestling team. In high school and middle school, I did wrestling, and I don't think this guy knew, but like, I could have easily used everything that I had. But it came to a point where we were in a class, science class, and he's sitting right next to me. We were partners, we always sit next to each other in that class. And it's about to get windy. Oh man. God, stop the wind, oh God. God, stop the wind. Lord, stop the wind. I thought something dropped, dude. Yo, that's crazy. I thought it was like a rock. So I was in this science class with this guy who I'm trying to make friends with, and it got weird. It was getting weirder and weirder, and we're in this class, and I can see the face change as I look at him, and it's just like, it gets to a point where I'm annoyed. I'm like, dude, leave me alone. And this is happening during class. I'm sitting next to him like this, like he's on this side, and I'm just like, dude, just leave me alone. Like, I'm like, just please, like, and I was going through a lot of stuff. That's kind of around the time where I was going through the depression and the suicide stuff. And I know that was when I overcame it, actually. I overcame that. And it was just like, it was like a month after, I think, or a month after I overcame that stuff. You know, God heals me from the peace and everything, the depression. And this kid is just bothering me. He grabs scissors and he cuts my finger. It's like probably like baby scissors, but he cuts my finger and it's bleeding during class. Mind you, there's people in front of us. Like, it's like a 4-table thing where I'm sitting next to somebody, someone's in front of me, and someone's across from me. They don't notice it. The teacher doesn't notice it, and he's teaching. Nobody notices it. And I still don't get how that happened. Maybe there's a reasoning to it, but I still don't get how that happened. So this happens, and he cuts me, and it gets to a point where my fist, like, I'm about to punch this dude, and it's gonna be bad. Like, and I tell my brain, all right, punch him. It doesn't happen. Like, it feels like my fist is like a ball of fire, but I can't do it. And I'm like, I don't care if whatever happens, like, I'm gonna do it. And it doesn't happen. You know, so I'm kind of like covering the blood with my shirt, like underneath the shirt. Well, you know, I'm trying to like stop the bleeding. And I wait for the class to finish. I don't know why I didn't say nothing to the teacher. Like I said, I didn't want to cause like a whole scene, but I didn't say nothing to him. So once class finished, I went to my math teacher. Shout out to him. I'm not gonna say his name because I'm not sure if he wants to be named and everything. But shout out to the math teacher. You know who you are if you see this. I go to him because I trusted him. I trust him. Went to him. I told him what happened. He takes me to one of the administrators. I forget who was first, but takes me to one of the administrators, and you know, they question everything, like you know, basically what I told you guys. And I go to one of the therapy rooms, I guess. Just a lady who just talks to people who are depressed and tries to help them out. And I told them, like, yeah, I just got done. Like, I was gonna commit suicide like a month ago, but God saved me, you know. Which I don't think I mentioned God to them at all. I just said that I was going through that stuff and all that. And basically what happens is they come to me and I'm bawling my eyes out because I just don't know what happened. It's like I felt like it was like demonic because I could tell by the face change. And oh my goodness, so much wind. I could tell by the face change that it was demonic. And you know, they take me into therapy. I'm in a therapy room, bawling my eyes out. First, they asked me what I want to eat because it was during lunchtime. That's what I want to eat. I was like, I don't know, whatever. Like Chick-fil-A? I was like, yeah, let's do Chick-fil-A. I never had Chick-fil-A, and that's my first time having Chick-fil-A, I believe. And you know, got free Chick-fil-A that day, got free food. And but they asked me as I'm bawling my eyes out, what do you want to happen to him? You want to file a police report? Do you want to tell anybody? Whatever. Like, no. And I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm still crying. I'm like, I don't want him to be hurt. I don't want to hurt him. I don't want nothing bad to happen to him. And they're just kind of shocked. They're like, he just cut you. You're crying. You know, you don't want nothing to happen to him. Like no. What they eventually do is they separate us, the classes. They take us apart from classes. It's like a restraining order, but in school. And I was like, yeah. And I told them, don't tell my parents, because if you do, it's not going to be pretty. You know, and I didn't want my sister to go up to the school as well and cause a whole commotion, and you know, which I'm not sure if that was probably the best idea to do, but that's what happened. So she still doesn't know up until this point. She'll probably see this video, or I'm gonna tell her before this video comes out, because I do want to tell her personally, what happened. My sister, she always defends her brothers. So me and my other brother, she always defends her family, and she'd do whatever. But I feel like it's right to say it now because now my sister's a Christian. She wasn't before. It was easy to get her mad. It's like a ticking time bomb. But now she's saved and she's more calm now, and I can explain everything to her. But I didn't tell nobody, and the school didn't tell nobody. I kept it a secret from my parents, from everybody. They don't know until now. I think it was one of these fingers. It was the ring finger. I'm not sure which hand it was, but that's the one he cut. It was like a slice. I mean, you couldn't see the bone, but it was a lot of blood. And once I understand everything, you know, they helped me and all that. But I just kept covering it up, you know, with the Band-Aid. You know, I was like, oh, there's just a little cut I got, a paper cut. But that's what happened. You know, and why did I wait so long? Because the content creation side of me, that's why. I wanted to do something like this outside and spill everything out. You know, my brother knows. Some people know this story, but not everybody knows. I usually tell this to people who are Christian and the people who really need to hear it, and people who I preach the gospel to, like who I evangelize to. And why did I keep it from the world? I'm not sure. I feel like it was always something that happened. Like today, I could have said, no, I'm not filming, because it said it's gonna rain at 2 o'clock and it's 2:52. It said it's gonna thunderstorm at this time. It's not doing it yet. But I was like, God, I need to do it now. It has to happen. It has to happen. And it was drizzling. I could have said no, but I was like, God, it has to happen now. I didn't expect to do it right now, to be honest. I was at church today, and I was just like, I have to do it. Oh my goodness. I don't want nothing to fly away. But you can see it's windy. But like I said, it's out there now. Everybody knows now, and that's basically my testimony. There's a lot of things I probably forgot, but if I don't mention a lot of things, I'll probably mention it in further videos, like on podcasts and just videos I make randomly. Everything will come together. If you're new, I just ask that you just listen, you know, follow my journey, and I pray that it touches you. This story touches you. This is a story that I'm gonna tell for a long time. There's a lot of things that are gonna keep happening, and things that already happened that I probably forgot to mention in this video. I made content since I was like 13 years old, probably. I was young, I was like a teenager, my early teenage years, and I made content mainly on video games in the beginning, but then I kind of transferred to vlogging. With my first iPod that had a camera, I started to vlog. I have the clip, I think, and if I do, you'll see it side by side somewhere, but that was me, you know. I was a kid without a mustache, without a beard, without long hair. Just a regular kid. And you know, I had a YouTube for a while, and I couldn't find out. Dude, it's windy, man. You know, I had a YouTube channel for a while, over 10 years, and I just couldn't find it. You know, I gained some subscribers, you know, doing gaming, but I knew it wasn't it. But I still kept posting. I still kept, you know, trying to find my way into this space. As I slowly became a Christian, I just randomly one time while I was recording, I felt something like just to motivate people, and I said it. And I posted it. I didn't expect nothing from it. I was like, let me just post it. And I posted it, and it got some traction. And the thing is, when I said the motivational stuff, it came from the heart. It came from me. I wasn't trying to make content for just entertainment purposes only. I was making content for people that would take my piece of motivation and take it for a long, long time and pray that it would help them grow in their life. So I loved it, and I just kept doing it. And up until now, dude, I feel like I'm doing a very good job. I'm not at the point where I want to be, but then again, I'm not sure where I want to be. I'm just doing it because I love making content. I love making motivational stuff. I love talking about God. This is me. You know, there's no my Christian side of me. There's no, you know, stuff like that. There's people who would say, my Christian side would say this, but I'm gonna say this. In my mind, I'm like, once you're Christian, once you believe in God, once you believe in Jesus, you follow Jesus, you are one with Christ. That is, you are now with Christ. There is no, oh, my other side, my Christian side would say this, but I would say this. I don't get that. I feel like if you're a Christian, if you believe in Jesus, you follow him, you try to follow him to the fullest, you are a Christian. You are a follower of Christ. There's no, I'm a follower of Christ sometimes. You're a follower of Christ every single day. And it's hard to do that, but it's possible. But yes, I became a Christian and I started to get more humbled, you know. People started to talk to me and reading the Bible, I started to feel it. I started to cry. I started to, you know, things were being broken down from my past self and I was being made new in Christ. I was becoming a new person. My thoughts, everything. You know, I still meet people to this day who are Christian very often. Very often. I met a Christian 2 days ago, which was a Friday at my job, and he was speaking some facts to me, and he was a Christian. God is going to talk to you in many different ways, and one of those ways is through people. And that's what I feel like God has been speaking to me every time, is through people. You know, people always say, I won't believe in Jesus until I see him face to face. Well, Jesus came down here already, and he got crucified. People didn't believe he was God. We always say these excuses, I'm gonna believe him until this happens. Sometimes even a miracle will make you believe in him. You say it will, but it won't. You look at people in the Bible who didn't believe, and you're like, oh, that couldn't be me. But it probably is you. You know, I've seen so many things. My family is surrounded by witchcraft. I've seen the demonic stuff happen. I've seen people who could barely walk, and something demonic happens to them, and they're just walking like nothing happens, but they're going all crazy. They're like throwing stuff around, tables are being flipped over, and it's just like the leg is okay, but the next day the leg is horrible again. I've seen demonic possessions happen. I've seen demonic things happen in my life, and it gives me more hope. It gives me the certainty that God is real, that Jesus did die for our sins. I try to rejoice in the struggles. You know, I'm not gonna lie here. Sometimes I feel down. Sometimes I don't feel sad. I feel down. Like there's just like an emptiness sometimes. You know, but usually with the emptiness, it comes humility from God. It comes, you know, I started to get humbled, you know, and it's like God is like tearing me down to bring me back up. And, you know, it's always a constant growth. It's never gonna stop. It's never gonna stop. When you're a Christian, yes, you're saved, but there's things that have to be broken down each and every single day, and God is gonna bring you right back up. You know, I had so many conversations with God where I'm crying, I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm like, God, why are you doing this? Why is this happening? I've had those conversations with God, and it's always led me to a place of peace. A place of peace, even when I'm not financially stable. Even when I'm in a certain environment right now, I still find peace. I walk through the fire with peace. there's a peace that God gives you that is unexplainable. You know, and it's like, there's so much things I could say, but I want to spill it out in certain different types of videos. So I feel like right now it's not the time. It's gonna be said, but right now it's not the time yet. But just know that I wasn't surrounded by a Christian household at all. My surroundings were witchcraft, Santeria, as it's called in Spanish. And it's like I've seen altars, like different saints and different candles lit up in the room and just a bunch of things. It's just creepy. I've seen that all happen. I've seen witchcraft work. I've seen it happen. I was surrounded by it, man. And you know, and now my family looks to me to pray for things or to say certain things because they see me more holier than every other person. But I don't like that. Like, I mean, part of me is like, that's cool that like people see me that way, but then again, I'm like, I'm a trash human being just like everybody else is. I'm not more perfect than anybody else. You know, I'm just trying to follow Jesus to the fullest, to as much as I can. And building my faith up, and my faith has been stronger each and every single day, you know? So there's a certain feeling that I get, and I can't explain it. It's just like when people say like, oh, go pray for him. They're telling me to go pray for him, even though they're Christian. I'm just like you. Just following Jesus. Just following what Jesus is telling us to do, not just me. You can go heal people, go evangelize to people. You can do it. I'm not the Messiah. No, I feel like some people mindset it is. It's like, oh, go do it, go pray for him, or go say something to that person. I'm like, I'm not Jesus, man. I may look like Jesus with the long hair, but I'm not Jesus. Promise you. But you know, there's a lot of things I learn every day through people. Sometimes through me talking with myself, as crazy as that sounds. I'm like, I have questions about some stuff in the Bible, and it's not questioning the Bible. It's just like, you know, how do these things, certain things connect to the Bible, and I answer it myself sometimes. So, in so many ways that stuff is answered that I have questions about. You know, there's always an answer, but some stuff is not meant to be answered. I'll give you that. Some stuff we won't know, like why God did certain things, or how the existence of God is. It's just like you can't understand it because it's not for us to understand, and we're out of the dimension that God is in. God is in our dimension, but we're not capable enough to have the knowledge of His dimension. I'm talking about God, like not Jesus, like God is like the Creator, you know. And I found a church that I love, feels like a family. They've helped me out so much already, in so many areas, so much opportunities, so much. And even when people were telling me, well, it's 30 minutes away, it's an hour away sometimes, I love it. No matter how much gas I had to fill up, no matter how much mileage I got to put in my car, I love this church. This church has helped me build my faith, has helped me get to know Jesus more, has helped me read my Bible more, has helped me know what God is expecting from me. Jesus is expecting certain things from us, and the only way to find out is to read the Bible. I could tell you though, I could summarize the Bible for you, but it's not gonna hit the same. I could read word for word for you, each verse to Revelations from beginning to end, but you have to read it. Read it for yourself. Know who your God is. Know who Jesus is. You know, you care for your parents, you care for your mom and dad or your guardian because you know who they are. You have faith in your parents, you trust your parents because you know who they are. Not because they're just your mom and dad, they're not just a title. It's because you know who they are. They raised you, they know who you are too. They tell you things that you don't like to hear, but it's for your good sometimes. God knows what's good for you, but how do you know what God is expecting from you if you don't know who God is? How does God work? You have to read the Bible. That is the only way you will know. But I do feel like God is going to show up. You'll see a lot of miracles. You're going to see a lot of miracles. It's going to happen. I feel like I'm not the only one saying this. Pastors are saying this. Fellow believers are saying this. Everywhere I go, it's like miracles are about to be made in the name of Jesus. I feel like God is more and more showing himself more as we get to the end. But this is the real test. Are you going to keep following him? Throughout the miracles you see, of course we say now, oh, miracles, we want to see miracles, but also when you go to a church, you see people being prayed over and being healed, and they start collapsing on the floor because they have an encounter with God. To your eye, it looks like it's witchcraft. It looks like it's just put on for a show. It looks like, they're paid actors. That's the point. People in the Bible, they didn't believe in Jesus because they thought he was a sorcerer, thought he was doing witchcraft. And that's why a lot of people don't believe today. They believe that those are paid actors, or they believe it's witchcraft. So there are things that are very similar from the biblical times to now. But if you're looking for a miracle, you're waiting for God to show you a miracle, and he hasn't done it. First, it could be that you had to cut something out of your life. Because if you're surrounding yourself with evil and you're expecting God to show up, how is that going to happen? You're not letting God into your life at all. You're not. If you're just going to keep clubbing out every single day, you're drinking the pain away, you're smoking the pain away, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be using God to cure that pain. You only hear from God if you're not inviting him in. How do you do that? Just read the Bible. Pray. Start the wind, God. Jesus, in Jesus' name, start the wind. Start the wind. And this is a miracle right here already. He legit said it was going to thunderstorm and rain, heavy. It hasn't done it yet. It was drizzling when I was recording in the beginning, but it stopped. Sometimes miracles happen, but you don't notice them. You don't stop and think. You don't stop and look at the blessings that God has showed you in your life. You don't stop and think and see the things that he's already protected you from. God is real. Sometimes you just gotta stop and be at peace. My brain goes a million miles a minute, but I have to stop and think and pray. Because if I don't do that, I can miss something very important. And that's happened. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like a lot of Christians don't bring up their own personal stuff that they're going through. There's things that you go through still as a Christian. There's a lot of problems that happen. But that is just more evidence that Jesus is real. You will be persecuted for doing the good. The good people usually tend to be used. It's hard to be a good person. It's hard to offer a hand. Because people will take advantage. But I love being a good person. If it means that more problems come my way, so be it. It's just more proof for me that Jesus is real. Life is never going to be smooth sailing. It's never going to be smooth sailing, even when it is. And when it was for me, when it was smooth sailing for me in the beginning, it felt like I was doing it from like my self-pleasure and not for God. Sometimes when you feel something smooth sailing, there's always something that you have to work on. Something is probably wrong. So if something smooth sailing, dude, it's like, you know, and it will be smooth sailing sometimes. You will be at peace. But even through those struggles, you still have peace as a Christian. It's hard to have that peace, but just remember that when those struggles come, when those trials come, it's more evidence that God is real. And if you're working a job that you don't like, work that job like you're working for God. Wake up early in the morning. Don't wake up angry. Somebody told me this 2 days ago at my job. It's like people wake up ungrateful. How do you wake up ungrateful? Well, you have a life. You got to breathe air for another day. And God has given you that. But you're still ungrateful to live this life. Look how beautiful it is outside. Just breathing in and breathing out is like, it's a blessing. It feels good. Life is so beautiful. Even when it's rainy, it's so beautiful. And it hit me when a person at my job told me this. I was like, dude, I'm ungrateful. I'm that person. He wasn't directing it to me, but I felt it because it was a language that I knew. And the whole time, this guy was a Christian. I asked him, after he said all that, I was like, you're a Christian? He was like, yep. And it was just more, you know, it's just like God was speaking to me. He speaks through people, like I said. And for me, he speaks through people a lot. I felt it hit me, but he wasn't directing it to me. He was just venting, and that venting, it hit me. The more you are ungrateful, the more the blessings you won't see anymore. The more negative thoughts that start to pop in your head. It is hard to be a good person, especially if most of your surroundings don't have too much faith. It is hard to be that good person. It's hard to be a Christian sometimes because you're helping a lot of people out, but sometimes you gotta work on yourself. But sometimes you just gotta power through. You gotta be a Christian. Every single day, every single second, you have to be faithful to God. You just can't forget while you're helping other people become Christians that you had to keep yourself strong. Keep yourself in the Word. Pray. Praying is very powerful, man. I'll tell you, I'm not going to say my sister's testimony because that's my sister's testimony. But dude, once you guys hear that, dude, I'm still in shock. My sister wasn't a Christian, but I'm still in shock that she is now. I knew it. I knew she was going to become a Christian. That's why it happened. Because I had the faith that it was going to happen, and I prayed that her surroundings were going to be followers of Christ. But that's another testimony for another video, which will be posted, and I will promote it. But dude, my sister's testimony, it hits home so much, especially because, you know, she's my sister, but also because I seen it happen. And the belief and the faith that I have, oh man. I think a tree just fell. Dude, what the heck? I think a tree just fell. Dude, there's so many things that are happening. I feel like a rock was about to hit me, behind me, legit. I feel the... But I had faith in God right now. As I'm making this video, it's windy and it was raining in the beginning. But I told God, no, this is gonna happen. It has to happen. And mind you, the weather said it's gonna rain, it's gonna be thunderstorming, and it's not thunderstorming yet. But this is my testimony video. I know I kind of gave you guys some motivation at the end, but I feel like that's what I do. It just happens. It just comes out. That's what you'll see a lot is in my videos. I talk about motivational stuff. I try to encourage people to have that faith in God and to get to know God more. Because you have to know who God is in order for you to put belief in Him, to put faith in Him. It is hard to be the good person, but I'd rather be persecuted for doing good. And I'm still growing. I'm not gonna lie and say, hey, I got everything figured out. I don't. But that peace, I'm living for it. That peace from God. Yes, sometimes that can be stressful, but it's more proof that Jesus is real. Just remember that. The more struggles that happen, the more trials that happen, rejoice in that. Rejoice in those struggles. Because there's more evidence that He is real. Thank you guys for watching my testimony video. Pray that this testimony connects to people around the world, not just my area, but everywhere else in the world. I know my purpose, but I can't explain it to you. It's just the language between me and God. Sometimes I'm like, I forget my purpose. But sometimes I just have to do, just like I did right now. I know my purpose, but I can't explain it to you because it's the language between me and God. And I'm so hopeful, I know what's gonna happen, but I can't tell you what's gonna happen. Because I just can't explain it to you. It's hard to explain. It's like it's just me and God. God knows what He wants from me, and I know what He wants from me. It may sound weird, but it makes sense to me, and you guys will see. Thank you guys for watching this testimony video. If you liked it, if you got something from it, leave a like. If you want to leave a like, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I'm out. Peace.